My, oh my. What a wild early morning it has been. Whew. Yeah. Well, first, let me get my intro out. Greetings to all pro wrestling fans of all shapes and sizes from all around the world. Welcome to another Pro Wrestling Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. We got quite a bit to talk about. So, first, the G1 Climax 35 finals are set. And it comes down to one last hope. One last hope to set things right. It comes down to Evil versus Konosuke Takeshita in the finals. Evil, with a whole bunch of interference and shenanigans from lame brain House of Torture, was able to get the victory, although it was by referee stoppage, because he never tapped out or anything like that. It was by referee stoppage. Referee made a judgment call. But, yeah, Evil beat Yota Tsuji. And then, in the main event, Konosuke Takeshita was able to beat Zack Sabre Jr. He hit that turnbuckle brainbuster similar to how Kyle Fletcher does, and then followed it up with a Raging Fire. But it all comes down to Evil versus Konosuke Takeshita. Now, I know some fans are like, they're not going to let Takeshita win. He's a part-timer. Did y'all forget that he's signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling, as well as DDT, as well as AEW? Y'all must have forgotten that. I'm just saying. He's still signed to all three. Remember, he has the triple threat contract? So I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be an issue if he were to win the G1. Just like I'm sure it wouldn't be an issue if he won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. I'm just saying. If Mox can do it, why not Takeshita? If Mox can do it, why not Takeshita? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. So, yeah, it all comes down to hopefully Takeshita pulling off the big victory, because I really just don't want Evil to win. Ugh. That would be so messed up if Evil ended up winning. I'm hoping that maybe perhaps Takeshita will have some backup. You know, maybe some folks from the Don Callis family will take a trip to Japan to back up Takeshita, because you know Evil is going to use all the shenanigans by any means necessary to win. So, we'll see what happens. But, thing is, it's right around the corner. Because G1 Climax Finals is tomorrow, Sunday. So, best of luck to the Alpha, Konosuke Takeshita. Hopefully he can pull it off. Okay, now I want to finish off on a bigger topic. So, we are now down to one final night of block matches for the 5-Star Grand Prix. And I must say, we have some very interesting scenarios going into this final night of block matches. So, let's see. Let me go ahead. You go ahead and get my graphics out. Or, not graphics, my spreadsheet. So, we're going to go over the current standings and go over the current scenarios as well. So, y'all ready? Let's do this. Starting off with Red Stars A. Okay. Now, make note that some ladies actually finished their final match earlier this morning. Some have already finished all their matches, but there are some that still have matches left over, that have at least one match, that have one match left. All right, let's get to it. So, sitting at the bottom of Red Stars A, 2 points on a 1-5 record. It's Waka Tsukiyama, one half of the Stardom New Blood Tag Team Champions. She was able to finally get her first win by defeating Azusa Inaba, but 5 losses to Saya Kamatani, Hanan, Mei Sarah, Yuna Mizumori, and B. Priestley. She does have one match left. Alright. We have 2 competitors sitting at 2-4 records, 4 points total. They are Yuna Mizumori and Lady C. Let's take a look at Lady C. 2 victories over Azusa Inaba and Yuna Mizumori, but 4 losses to Saya Kamatani, Hanan, Mei Sarah, and B. Priestley. She has one match left. Yuna Mizumori, same thing. Victories over Mei Sarah, Waka Tsukiyama, but losses to Saya Kamatani, Lady C, Azusa Inaba, and B. Priestley. She has one match left. Alright, we have one competitor sitting with a final record of 3-4, 6 points. It's Azusa Inaba. 3 victories over Hanan, Mei Sarah, and Yuna Mizumori, but 4 losses to Saya Kamatani, Lady C, Waka Tsukiyama, and B. Priestley. And she has completed her block, so she has no matches left. But yes, Waka Tsukiyama, Yuna Mizumori, Lady C, and Azusa Inaba are all mathematically eliminated. Alright, we got 2 competitors sitting at 7 points. They are Hanan and Mei Sarah. Let's take a look at Mei Sarah, the current high-speed champ. She has a final record of 3-3-1. Victories over Lady C, Waka Tsukiyama, and B. Priestley. 3 losses to Saya Kamatani, Yuna Mizumori, and Azusa Inaba, and the 1 draw with Hanan. But yes, she has no matches left. Hanan, on the other hand, has a record of 3-2-1. Victories over Lady C, Waka Tsukiyama, and B. Priestley. 2 losses to Saya Kamatani and Azusa Inaba, and the 1 draw with Mei Sarah. But she does have 1 match left. Okay. Right now, sitting in second place, who has clinched a playoff spot, has a record of 4-2, 8 points, is B. Priestley, the top Gaijin. Excuse me. B. Priestley. So she has 4 victories over Azusa Inaba, Waka Tsukiyama, Lady C, and Yuna Mizumori. 2 losses to Hanan and Mei Sarah. And she has 1 match left. And then sitting at the top with 12 points, still undefeated, 6-0, and has clinched the #1 seed, is the World of Stardom champion, the Phoenix Queen, Saya Kamatani. 6-0, victories over Hanan, Mei Seira, Yuna Mizumori, Lady C, Waka Tsukiyama, and Azusa Inaba. She has one match left. Okay. Let's look at scenarios. Let's look at scenarios for this block. So, we already know that no matter what happens with Saya Kamatani, she has secured the #1 seed. So she's got that. She's got the #1 seed. Okay. Let's see. B. So B Priestley, she has the opportunity to clinch the #2 seed. All she has to do is win or draw. She just has to win or draw, and B will clinch the #2 seed. Okay? Now for Hanan, she has to, let's see. So all Hanan has to do is win, and she's in. As a matter of fact, no. She has to win or draw, and she's in. That's all she has to do is win or draw. So B Priestley has Saya Kamatani left. So B has to beat or draw with Saya to clinch the #2 seed. Hanan. Now, Hanan can clinch the #2 seed with a win over Yuna Mizumori. But if she gets a draw, then... Actually, nah. If she gets a draw, then she still gets #2 seed because she has the tiebreaker over B. So, Hanan can still get the #2 seed with a win or a draw. Now, here's where it gets tricky. So, Mei Seira, she's still in it, but she's going to need a lot of luck. She's going to need a lot of luck. So, Mei has no matches left. But here's the deal. She needs Hanan to lose to Yuna Mizumori. If that happens, then Mei Seira and Hanan will be at a tie. Because remember, they had the draw against each other. Which would mean that they would need to have a tiebreaker match. One more tiebreaker match to determine who takes the 3rd seed. That's what they would have to do. So, Mei needs to have a lot of luck. She needs to have a lot of luck in order to pull this off. But we'll see what happens. But we know for sure Saya and B have clinched playoff spots. So it really just comes down to either Hanan or Mei Seira. But yeah, there's only 2. So there's 3 matches left in Red Stars A. There's Saya Kamatani versus B Priestley, Hanan versus Yuna Mizumori, and Lady C versus Waka Tsukiyama, which that one doesn't matter that much. So that's your Red Stars A. And hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. All right, let's get back at it. All right, Red Stars B. Okay, Red Stars B, very interesting. But yeah, let's go over the scores first. So right now, sitting at the bottom with a record of 0-6, 0 points, is Rion. Losses to Starlight Kid, Azumi, Natsupoi, Sayaka Kurara, Natsuko Tora, and Rina. She has one match left. Okay. We got one competitor with 2 points on a 1-5 record, and that's Sayaka Kurara. She has the one victory over Rion, but 5 losses to Starlight Kid, Natsupoi, Tomoka Inaba, Natsuko Tora, and Rina. She has one match left. Okay? You have one competitor that has a 3-3 record, 6 points, and that's Tomoka Inaba. 3 victories over Starlight Kid, Sayaka Kurara, and Natsuko Tora, but 3 losses to Azumi, Natsupoi, and Rina. She has one match left. All right. We have 3 competitors that have 8 points across the board. There's Starlight Kid, Natsupoi, and Natsuko Tora. Let's take a look at Natsuko Tora. 4-3 record. Victories over Azumi, Natsupoi, Sayaka Kurara, and Rion, but 3 losses to Starlight Kid, Tomoka Inaba, and Rina. She has completed all of her matches. And Rion, Sayaka Kurara, Tomoka Inaba, and Natsuko Tora are mathematically eliminated. Tora really needed that victory, which was Tomoka Inaba. She really needed that victory, but ended up tapping out. So that really destroyed her hopes. Okay. Now it's about to get really interesting. Let's take a look at... Let's go Starlight Kid. Starlight Kid, 3-1-2 record, 8 points. 3 victories over Sayaka Kurara, Rion, and Natsuko Tora. 1 loss to Tomoka Inaba. And 2 draws with Azumi and Rina. And she has 1 match left for the Wonder of Stardom champion. Well, Wonder of Stardom / Artist of Stardom. Let's see. Natsupoi. 4-2 record. Victories over Sayaka Kurara, Tomoka Inaba, Rion, and Rina. 2 losses to Azumi and Natsuko Tora. She has 1 match left. Okay? And then we have 2 competitors, both sitting at the top with 9 points each. It's Azumi and Rina. Let's take a look at Rina. 4-2-1 record. Victories over Sayaka Kurara, Tomoka Inaba, Rion, Natsuko Tora. 2 losses to Azumi and Natsupoi. 1 draw with Starlight Kid. And she has completed her block matches. And then Azumi. Azumi, 4-1-1 record, 9 points. 4 victories over Natsupoi, Tomoka Inaba, Rion, and Rina. The 1 loss to Natsuko Tora, and the 1 draw with Starlight Kid. And she has 1 match left. Okay, let's take a look at scenarios and final matchups for the Red Stars B block. Alright, Azumi. So Azumi has secured a playoff spot, but all she has to do is win her match against Sayaka Kurara, and she will clinch the number 1 seed. So That's all she has to do. If she can beat Carrara, she clinches the #1 seed. Okay? Now, let's see. Rena. So Rena, this is a very interesting scenario. So for Rena to advance, the match between Starlight Kid and Natsupoi cannot end in a draw. As long as there is a winner between Natsupoi and Starlight Kid, then Rena will advance. Crazy, isn't it? She literally has to hope that somebody wins. Doesn't matter who. But it cannot end in a draw. If it ends in a draw, Rena is out. You know what's really funny about this? You would think that perhaps Starlight Kid and Natsupoi could like make a deal with each other and just get themselves counted out. And I'll explain why in a bit. I'll explain why. But that's the scenario for Rena. Now, for both, here's the funny thing. For both Natsupoi and Starlight Kid, a win or a draw, and they're in. So for Natsupoi, as long as she wins or draws, she's in. For Starlight Kid, as long as she wins or draws, she's in. So that's what I was saying about what Rena's situation. So I was thinking, if they really wanted to be unique and smart about it, Starlight Kid and Natsupoi would meet up and be like, look, we don't want any more of hate advancing. So let's just get ourselves counted out, double count out, or whatnot, and just take the draw. We'll both get in. But I'm sure Rena and Hate could counter with just having Hate be in attendance and then just try to, get them back in the ring if they try to do a double count out or whatnot. But when you really think about it, Poi and Starlight Kid could work together and just get the draw or let time run out, and they would both advance to the playoffs. It's a really funny scenario. Really funny scenario. But yeah. So that's the deal for Red Stars B. Final matchups, of course, Starlight Kid versus Natsupoi. Azumi versus Sayaka Kurara. And Tomoka Inaba versus Rion, which that's not going to matter too much. But I'm pretty sure Rion's going to end up being winless. Hate to say it, but yeah. Okay, let's go to Blue Stars A. All right. This one's a little more straightforward. So let's go over it. So right now, sitting at the bottom with 0 points and an 0-6 record, Yuria Hime. Losses to Miyu Amasaki, Saori Ano, Aya Sakura, Ami Sore, Bozilla, and Ruoka. Okay? She has one match left. Okay. Sitting at 2 points on a 1-5 record is the Sendai Girls World Junior Champion, Aya Sakura. She has the one victory over Yuria Hime, but 5 losses to Saya Ida, Saori Ano, Ami Sore, Bozilla, and Ruoka. She has one match left. Okay? We got 2 competitors sitting at 6 points. They're Saya Ida and Miyu Amasaki. So, let's take a look at Saya Ida. So, 3-3 record. Victories over Miyu Amasaki, Aya Sakura, and Ruoka. But losses to Saori Ano, Ami Sore, and Bozilla. She has one match left. Miyu Amasaki. 3-3 record, 6 points. Victories over Ami Sourei, Ruoka, and Yuria Hime. Losses to Saya Ida, Saori Ano, Bozilla. She has 1 match left. So technically, Yuria Hime, Aya Sakura, and apparently Saya Ida are mathematically eliminated, which I kind of found it hard to believe that Saya's mathematically eliminated, because I figured, actually, no, she's not mathematically eliminated, I don't think, because she could beat Yuria Hime and get 8 points, and Miyu Amasaki could lose. But see, the thing is, oh, wait a minute. Actually, no, that's accurate, because even if Saya Ida wins, Ami Sourei has the tiebreaker over her if Ami Sourei loses. So yeah, that's actually correct. Okay, I had to fact check. Okay, we're good. Let's proceed. All right, sitting at 7 points on a 3-3-1 record is Ruoka. So 3 victories over Yuria Hime, Ami Sourei, Aya Sakura. 3 losses to Saya Ida, Miyu Amasaki, Saori Ano. The 1 draw with Bozilla. And she has no matches left, so she's completed her block. She's mathematically eliminated. Okay. Now it's about to get really interesting. So, Ami Sourei, right now, who has 3rd place, 4-2 record, 8 points. 4 victories over Saya Ida, Saori Ano, Aya Sakura, and Yuria Hime. 2 losses to Miyu Amasaki and Ruoka. She has 1 match left. Okay? All right. Sitting at 2nd place and has clinched a playoff spot is Bozilla on a 4-0-2 record. Victories over Saya Ida, Miyu Amasaki, Aya Sakura, and Yuria Hime. 2 draws with Saori Ano and Ruoka. She has 1 match left. And then sitting at the top right now with 11 points on a 5-1-1 record, Saori Ano. 5 victories over Saya Ida, Miyu Amasaki, Aya Sakura, Ruoka, and Yuria Hime. She had the 1 loss to Ami Sourei and the 1 draw with Bozilla. She has no matches left. Okay, let's take a look at this. Scenarios and final matchups out of Blue Stars A. Okay, so for Saori Ano, she has no matches left, but Saori Ano will clinch the number 1 seed if Bozilla loses to Ami Sourei. As long as Bozilla loses to Ami Sourei, Saori Ano will clinch the number 1 seed. Now the crazy thing is, if Bozilla draws with Ami Sourei, then Bozilla and Saori Ano are going to have 1 more tiebreaker to determine who takes the number 1 seed. So that could be a possibility. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's for Saori Ano. For Bozilla, all she has to do is win, and she clinches the number 1 seed. So pretty straightforward for Bozilla. She beats Ami Sourei, she clinches number 1 seed. Okay. For Ami Sourei, all Ami Sourei has to do is win or draw. As long as she can win or draw against Bozilla, then Ami gets in. she will secure the number 3 seed. Now, if Ami Sourei wins, then she will take the number 2 seed. Yeah, if she can beat Bozilla, then she will take the number 2 seed. So, Ami Sourei still has a chance to get as high as the number 2 seed. But like I said, she cannot afford a loss. It's do or die now for Ami Sourei. Alright, and then Miyu Amasaki. Yeah, Kevin is still in it. 1/3 of the Artist of Stardom Trio champs. Yeah, she's still in it. So, she needs to beat Aya Sakura, and she needs Ami Sourei to lose to Bozilla. If that happens, then Miyu will take the number 3 seed. So, we'll see what happens. But, yeah, she needs to beat Aya Sakura, and she needs Ami Sourei to lose to Bozilla in order to get the number 3 seed. So, yeah. So, final matchups. Saya Ida versus Yuria Hime. Miyu Amasaki versus Aya Sakura, and Ami Sourei versus Bozilla. Those are your final Blue Stars A matches. Excuse me. Alright. Let's go to Blue Stars B. Okay, Blue Stars B is even more complicated. It's crazy. Okay, so Blue Stars B. Sitting at the bottom with a 1-5 record, 2 points, is Momokogo. She finally got her first win of the tournament over Hina, but has 5 losses to Rani Agami, Hanako, Suzu Suzuki, Momo Watanabe, and Konami. She has 1 match left. Okay? Alright, sitting at 4 points, sitting at 4 points, on a 2-4 record is the future Stardom champion Hina. 2 big victories over Momo Watanabe and Konami, but 4 losses to Komomo, Rani Agami, Suzu Suzuki, and Sari. She has 1 match left. Okay, we have 2 competitors sitting at 6 points. That's Rani Agami and Konami. Let's take a look at Konami. Konami, 3-4 record, 3 victories over Komomo, Hanako, and Sari, but 4 losses to Hina, Rani Agami, and Suzu Suzuki and Momo Watanabe. She has no matches left, so she's completed her block. Now, Momokogo, Hina, and Konami are mathematically eliminated, so they're out. Okay, let's take a look at Rani Agami. 3-3 record. Victories over Konami, Hina, and Momokogo. Losses to Hanako, Momo Watanabe, and Sari. She has 1 match left. It's against Suzu Suzuki. 1 match left. Alright, we have 1 competitor sitting at 7 points on a 3-2-1 record. And that's the other half of the Stardom New Blood Tag Team Champions, Hanako. 3 victories over Komomo, Rani Agami, Momo Watanabe, and 2 losses to Konami and Sari, and the draw with Suzu Suzuki. She has 1 match left. Alright, we have 2 competitors that are tied at 8 points. That's Suzu Suzuki and Momo Watanabe. Alright, let's look at Momo Watanabe. 4-3 record. Victories over Momokogo, Rani Agami, Suzu Suzuki, and Konami. 3 losses to Hina, Hanako, and Sari. She has no matches left, so she's completed her block. Alright, Suzu Suzuki, 3-1-2 record. Victories over Momokogo, Hina, and Konami. The 1 loss to Momo Watanabe, and 2 draws with Hanako and Sari. She has one match left. And then sitting at the top of Blue Stars B, 9 points on a 4-1-1 record, who has clinched a playoff spot, is your IWGP Women's Champion, Sari. Victories over Hina, Rena Yagami, Hanako, and Momo Watanabe, the one loss to Konami, and the one draw with Suzu Suzuki. She has one match left. Okay, let's take a look at scenarios and final matchups. So for Sari, she's already clinched a playoff spot, but all she has to do is win, and she will clinch number 1 seed. If she can beat Momo Kogo, she will clinch the number 1 seed. Okay? Now, let's see. Now, for Momo Watanabe, this gets really, really complicated because remember, she has no matches left. So, she will advance to the playoffs if Hina can beat Hanako, or Hanako and Hina end in a draw and Rana Yagami beats Suzu Suzuki. So, Momo, even though she lost to Hina, she needs to turn into a cheerleader for Hina, so to speak. Because if Hina can beat Hanako, then Momo Watanabe will advance. Or Hina, Hanako end in a draw, and Rana Yagami beats Suzu. Now, let's see. Rana Yagami, she will advance if she can win and if Hina can beat Hanako. If that happens, then she will advance. Okay? All right. For Suzu Suzuki, all Suzu has to do is win or draw, and she's in. But if Suzu wins, then she will get the number 1 seed. All right. For Hanako, all Hanako has to do is win or draw, and she's in. That's all she has to do is win or draw, and she's in. So, the only 2 people that are capable of getting the number 1 seed are Sari and Suzu Suzuki. Final matchups. It's Momo Kogo versus Sari, Hina versus Hanako, Rana Yagami versus Suzu Suzuki. Those are the final Blue Stars B matchups. Now, to be honest, let's go back through. I'm going to give my prediction. So, back to Red Stars A. To be honest, I do believe, I just have a feeling that that Hanan is going to lose to Yuna Mizumori. I just have a feeling that Hanan's going to lose to Yuna Mizumori, and we're going to get one final tiebreaker match between Hanan and Mei Seira. I just have that feeling. I do think B. Priestley will upset Saya Kamatani and secure that number 2 seed. Because it really won't matter if Saya Kamatani loses. She's secured that number 1 seed. Can't nobody take that from her. So I think B gets the upset. But, Saya Kamatani is trying to upstage Micah. Because remember, Micah won the 5-star last year on a clean sweep. She did not lose a single match. The difference here is to see if Saya Kamatani can do the same thing while being World of Stardom champion. So that's the difference. But I do think B. Priestley will pull off the upset. But yeah, I think Hanan's going to lose to Yuna Mizumori. I think there's going to be an upset there, and I think we're going to get a tiebreaker match between Hanan and Mei Sarah. Now, as far as who wins between that, that's hard to say. That's hard to say. So Red Stars B. What do I think will end up happening? I do think Azumi's going to seal up that number 1 seed. I do believe she's going to seal up that number 1 seed. I do think Rian is gonna finish winless. Unfortunately, sorry, Rian. And you know what? I think by some shade of a miracle, Poi and Starlight Kid are gonna tie, which would eliminate Rena. I just have a feeling they're gonna try, like, if they're smart, they're gonna try to just, like, finish to a draw, just so that Rena can't get in. But at the same time, both ladies, if Azumi loses, both ladies will have a chance to fight for the number 1 seed. So it's really going to come down to when their matches are, like the order of the card. That's also going to be something that could come into effect. All right, Blue Stars A. To be honest, I think Ami Sourei will beat Bozilla, and I think they're going to run it back in the playoffs. That's what I truly believe. I think Ami Sourei beats Bozilla, and then they run it back in the playoffs. But all she needs is at least a draw, and she'll advance. Which I think Ami will advance. I don't think Miyu will advance. I think Miyu will beat Aya Sakura, but I think Ami will win or draw to advance. So I think Miyu comes up short. So I'm predicting that Saori Ano is going to clinch the number 1 seed. And then Blue Stars B. Here's the thing. Hate shenanigans have backfired on Momo Watanabe twice. Twice in this tournament. Or actually, no, 3 times. I'm sorry. 3 times in this tournament. Now, to be honest with you, I really feel like Momo's got to. I think if she doesn't end up leaving Hate or turning on Hate, then I don't know what the heck to think. Because she can potentially be out of this tournament if certain things happen, with the scenarios I mentioned. So, to be honest with you, I don't think Momo Watanabe makes it, but I think that's going to be the turning point of her ending up leaving Hate, because they costed her this. So, that's my prediction there. So, with that being said, but like I said, it's a gamble. It's a gamble because Rana Yagami would have to beat Suzu. So it's a gamble. I'm gonna take that gamble. Crazier things have happened, but I'm gonna take that gamble. So I'm thinking it's gonna be Suzu, Hanako, Rani Agami. I think Hanako gets the number 1 seed. But then again, hold up. Well, no, that would still be correct. That would still be correct. Or wait, no, because Momo has the tiebreaker over Suzu. Yeah, Momo has the tiebreaker over Suzu. So realistically, Momo some way somehow has to hope that Suzu doesn't beat Rana. She has to hope that she doesn't beat Rana. Otherwise, Momo's out. So that's the thing. She has to hope. Let's review it. She only advances if Hina can beat Hanako, or if Hanako and Hina draw and Rani Yagami beat Suzu Suzuki. So the easiest factor would be Hina beating Hanako, which that would be very impressive. That would be very impressive if Hina can beat Hanako. But we'll see. We'll see. But I just have some crazy feeling that some way somehow they're gonna find a way that Momo Watanabe gets eliminated. But we'll see. It could be one of those things where she gets costed the tournament here, or she gets cost the tournament in the playoffs. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, y'all, it's been crazy. It's been really crazy. But like I said, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. And just as a reminder, the playoffs start on August 20th. So after tomorrow, after Sunday, the ladies get a little break, and then the 20th, playoffs start. So coming down the home stretch on the G1 Climax 35 and 5-Star Grand Prix tournaments. So we're right on the cusp. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. Let me know y'all's thoughts. How do y'all feel about Konosuke Takeshita versus Evil as the finals of the G1 Climax 35? Who do you think wins? I'm pulling for Takeshita. And who do you think finishes off in the 5-Star Grand Prix? And who do you think goes into the playoffs? Who's your final playoff competitors? Let me know your thoughts there. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. For another Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. My name is Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed weekend, and I will see y'all in the next video and our live stream. Peace.